Well, this week has been filled with major headlines in the U.S. and around the world. One America's Jennesh Agagas takes us through the top stories in our Week in Review.
The week begins in Washington, D.C., where Secretary of State Mike Pompeo announces a major update to U.S. policy for Israeli settlements in Palestinian territories.
The establishment of Israeli civilian settlements in the West Bank is not, per se, inconsistent with international law.
And a deadly shooting in the Sooner State.
We're following developing news out of Oklahoma, where 3 people are dead following a shooting outside a Walmart store.
And later in Colorado, a jury finds Patrick Frazee guilty of murdering his fiancée, Kelsey Barrett. Tuesday, week 2 of impeachment hearings are underway at our nation's capital as 4 witnesses, including former special envoy to Ukraine, Kurt Volker, and Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, appear before the House Intelligence Committee. And in the Big Apple,
2 prison guards on duty at the time convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein killed himself in a New York jail cell are now facing federal charges.
Also, Sweden drops a rape investigation against WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, in which prosecutors will reportedly appeal. Midweek, eyes are on U.S. Ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland, on his no quid pro quo statement.
No one on this planet told you that President Trump was tying aid to investigations, yes or no?
Yes.
So, you really have no testimony today that ties President Trump to a scheme to withhold aid from Ukraine in exchange for these investigations.
Other than my own presumption.
Which is nothing.
And a pair of bipartisan bills aimed at protecting Hong Kong protesters passes in the House and Senate. Also in Britain.
Now, I went there with the sole purpose of saying to him that because he had been convicted, it was inappropriate for us to be seen together.
Prince Andrew steps back from public duties following a highly criticized interview on his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. And later in Atlanta, Georgia, 10 Democrat contenders vying for the presidential nomination take the debate stage. Thursday,
just hours before the midnight deadline, the president signs a short-term spending bill to avoid a government shutdown.
And on Capitol Hill, the final public impeachment hearing of the week features former White House advisor Dr. Fiona Hill and Ukraine Embassy counselor David Holmes. Also, Tesla announces its first ever electric pickup truck. Finally, on Friday, Attorney General William Barr unveils a new initiative aimed at addressing violence against Indigenous people. And President Trump holds a White House roundtable to discuss how to tackle teen vaping.
If you don't give it to them, it's going to come here illegally.
Yes,
okay,
right.
they're going to make it. But instead of Reynolds or Juul or legitimate companies, good companies making something that's safe, they're going to be selling stuff on a street corner that could be horrible.
And lastly, consumer sentiment unexpectedly rises to a 4-month high under the Trump administration. Jennesh Agagas, One American News.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.